Okay. Good morning, Queensland. Well, it's a very proud day today for the Queensland Police Service, celebrating 50 years at the Police Academy here. We have over 120 people graduating today, joining the ranks of the Queensland Police Service. I want to thank the Commissioner and the Police Minister for the outstanding work that our police do right across the state. We've continued to increase the police budget. We've continued to give police the essential tools that they need to do their job. And every day they put themselves forward in dangerous situations to protect the community. So I look forward to meeting some of the graduates today, and I'll hand over to the Police Commissioner.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Academy. As you've heard, 50 years today, in 1972, new cadets and probationaries walked into this part of the world. We have had over 40,000 people walk through these gates in the last 50 years, and I was one of those in 1983. Today we will swear in 122 new police officers, and I'm sure it's one of those days you'll never forget in your entire life, but today being especially really special because it is those 50 years. Last night there were many from the original cadets that started here 50 years ago, celebrated at a function here last night, and some of those will be here as well. So to all of you, welcome, enjoy the day, and I'm hoping that you'll get some really special stories from those being sworn in today, but also from those that started here some 50 years ago. Thank you.
Now, I know you're all doing the maths in your head and you're thinking the Commissioner 1983, can I just say she started when she was very, very young? And aren't we lucky to have someone of the calibre of the Commissioner, not only going through this academy, but serving our state as Commissioner. As the Commissioner said, over 40,000 people have gone through the gates of this academy to go on to serve their community with honour and distinction, and in a way that keeps the community safe. So I wanted to acknowledge all of those people from the past who have served the community as members of the Queensland Police Service, and congratulate today the 122 Queenslanders who are becoming sworn officers of the Queensland Police Service, the newest constables of the Queensland Police Service, and they'll be deployed right across the state. And it's further evidence of the government's commitment to community safety. So over the next few years we'll be finishing the delivery of our election commitment, around an extra 2,025 extra police personnel. And today you see some of those graduate and go on to serve their community. So, Premier, thanks for your strong support of the Queensland Police Service and community safety. It's a record investment, historic investment in policing, not only from a budget point of view, but also from a resourcing and personnel point of view. And to you, Commissioner, thank you for the strong leadership that you deliver on behalf of the Queensland Police Service every day. And again, congratulations to the newest constables of the Queensland Police Service. I know they'll go on to serve their community with distinction and honour, just like the 40,000 Queenslanders who have done so over the last 50 years.
Minister, just quickly, sorry, with that election commitment, how many officers have you hired since you made that pledge to hire 2025?
Yeah, certainly. So we're almost 2 years into our 5-year commitment, and we're coming up to close to 400 growth numbers, bearing in mind that a number of them graduate through the academy and go on to fill vacancies that are left from retirements or promotion. But we're well on track to delivering our commitment. And the 2025 are made up of two components. One's a sworn officer number of 1,450, and the other is the support staff, the frontline support. So we're tracking well. It's close to 400 growth numbers by the end of this financial year. Next year it'll be over 300 growth numbers, and of course then we'll have the remaining 2 years. We're on track and we're going to deliver those numbers.
Premier, just on COVID, we've seen a slight increase.
Yes.
Experts are starting to talk about the fact it's spreading in schools. BA2 is obviously more infectious. Would the government consider a mandate on the booster for both adults and children in I guess, what you could call a no jab, no play policy?
We're not looking at that, but can I just say we are seeing an increase, and today there's 11,000 new cases, and tragically 6 people have lost their lives, and we extend our condolences there to those families. And we are seeing, as the Chief Health Officer and the Health Minister mentioned the other day, we are seeing a spike in school-aged children. I've been able to have a conversation with Western Australia Premier. I said I would do that the other day, looking at what extra things they did to get primary school children vaccinated. We'll be having that discussion tomorrow. I'll be meeting with the Health Minister and the Chief Health Officer. But can I please stress to parents, it is very important to get your children vaccinated. It is going through the schools at the moment. We are not overly concerned at the moment, but we are monitoring this situation as we are seeing a spike in COVID numbers. But this is expected. We did expect to see this. And the good news is that we are not seeing high rates in hospitals. So today we only have 11 people in ICU, and of those 11 people, 5 are ventilated. But we do have 271 in hospital, and we do expect that to remain around that number at the moment.
Yesterday there were 16 children in hospital, today there's 25. That's quite stark, and the Chief Health Officer did say that as soon as he started to see hospitalisations rise, especially in children, he would introduce possibly a mask mandate or increased safety measures.
Yeah, well, he has not given us that advice yet, and as I said, I'll be speaking with him tomorrow. I have a meeting scheduled, and we are also monitoring what's happening in other states as
So
well.
it's not ruled out yet, Premier, but it's something you will most likely discuss tomorrow.
In relation to masks.
Into the mandates on that.
Not in the mandates of boosters, no. We are still stressing for people to get their boosters. But I think people should also recognise that COVID is still out there. And as we said, it is up to the individual what they want to do. And of course, you know, some of our senior residents are wearing masks when they go out on public transport and also into shopping centres.
Premier, can you explain why a government-owned corporation needs to pay for advice on how to deal with the government?
That's a matter for them, and I understand I have been advised that all protocols were followed.
Annastacia donated $35,000 to the Labor Party the day before Denise Spinks, who was your Chief of Staff until a few months ago, was given a meeting with Minister de Brenni and his staff. How do you respond to that?
What I say very clearly is that former employees, now she's a former employee, have to abide by integrity advice, and that is up to them, and I expect them to do that.
It's also up for ministers to obey that advice, which says the post-separation agreement is
Yes.
no business meetings for 18 months after somebody leaves.
And I'm advised it was not a business meeting, but you should put that question to the Minister.
The minister said they discussed clean code, which is...
Well,
one
you
of
need to put
the
those
things.
questions to the Minister. I was not at the meeting.
Do you think it's appropriate for lobbyists to donate to the Labor Party?
What I do think it's appropriate for is that Kevin Newbury did a review into this, and there were recommendations around lobbyists. And you know, if we need to tighten rules, we will do so. There is a blurring at the moment of people who are either in-house working for in-house legal firms, for people who are government relations. And these are issues that will be looked at in the context of that review and the committee. The committee is looking at that at the moment, and government looks forward to receiving that report. Any other questions? Yes. Sorry.
We have the governor
Yes.
coming soon. We have
Yes.
the governor coming soon.
If it's a blurring, does that mean you have concerns about those rules at the moment, that they're not clear enough and that wrongdoing could be happening?
Look, we've got the strongest laws in the country, but if we can enhance those laws, we always will. And that is a recommendation of Kevin Newbury, so we'll be looking at that. Now, finally, I want to say this because this is really important. First of all, we want to thank Ash Barty for everything she has done for the country. Just across the road over here at Richlands is where she started playing with Jimmy Joyce. And I think this community around here is also incredibly proud of her. And on behalf of Queenslanders, I want to thank her for the outstanding role model she has been for young women and girls right across the country. And she's a very proud Queenslander, and I hope now that we can nominate her as a Queensland great. And finally, before I go, this is really important. As we know, a lot of families were impacted by the recent floods. And I have sent a letter to the Prime Minister. This is really important, this $741 million resilience package, of which the Queensland Government has absolutely said that we will put up 50%. I just want to go through a couple of these key issues and why it is so important. This has never happened before. The first thing we want to do is we want to have grants of up to 50,000 people to build back better 5,500 homes. Now that would be a lot of people who aren't insured. This is really critical because I've been out there and I've met with people who aren't insured, just through a whole range of circumstances. Secondly, grants of up to $100,000 to raise up 1,000 homes at a cost of $100 million. You only have to go down here to Oxley to see where the Oxley Creek floods. where people after 2011 actually built their homes up higher. This is really important because people on floodplains next to creeks do flood, so this is really important. And finally, $350 million, this would be the largest injection ever, to buy back residential properties of up to 500 homes. These are really important for our flood impacted people. This is a really important package, and I absolutely would like to see this in the budget next week. It is absolutely critical. We saw what happened with Grantham. We were able to find land higher. None of those properties were flooded in these recent floods because they were built up on higher ground. So this is really important that we actually talk to communities about that. We've got the Governor arriving, so thank you very much, everyone. Thank you.
Questions
Thank
about
you.
Labor's links to lobbying.
Thank you.